Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing us to speak today. Neither my husband nor I have any financial interest in, nor have we received any financial help in being here. My name is Karen Miller. I have multiple sclerosis. What you all should also know about me is that I do not take risks easily. I floss daily. I buy products with the Consumer Reports seal of approval. I intentionally overpay my estimated taxes. I drink milk only after double-checking the sell-by date. And I want to take Tysabri again. I would prefer not to risk coming here to speak publicly. I would prefer not to risk being in a drug trial with, and I quote from the standard consent form, risk including the possibility of death and side effects not currently known, close quote. I would prefer not to risk having PML. So why, in order to speak here for 2.5 minutes, would I spend 3 days resting, have my husband work on my muscles and tendons from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. this morning, and risk the next week's bedridden? Why on November 4th, 1997, did I consent to be the 32nd human being to participate in the early phase 2 trial for what was then called Antegren? Why on February 28th, 2005, did I spend $15,000 from my savings to buy bottles of a drug that was being removed from the market? So why would I take Tysabri, and why would I be here today? To help the medical science of multiple sclerosis, to aid the MS population, to have a chance to teach legal ethics again, to take a shower without anybody nearby in case I fall, to swallow, confident I will not choke on my own saliva, to read and to remember, to feel my niece's hug. Yes, there's risk, but with the medical information from my wise and caring neurologist, Dr. William Sharamata, with the support of my husband and family, with prayer, I took Tysabri in 1997 and again in 2004, 2005, and I will do everything I possibly can for those who want to and for myself to have the chance to take it again. Off Tysabri, on a good day, I'm a 5'5" on the disability scale, on my crutches for about 10 feet, facing chemotherapy. On Tysabri, it's a whole new day. I'm a 1.5 on the EDSS scale. I've been on my bike for 10 miles, facing the road ahead.
My name is David Miller. For the last 8 years, I've looked at Tysabri through 3 different lenses: as a former business executive, now as a pastor, a theologian, and a professor of business ethics at Yale Divinity School and Yale School of Management, and most importantly, as the husband and caregiver of a woman with MS. As a former business person, I want companies to develop and make a good profit. As a pastor, a theologian, and an ethicist, I raise questions of justice, compassion, and integrity. And finally, as a husband of 26 years and now a caregiver, every day my wife is without Tysabri, I see her ability to function running out like sand granules in an hourglass. Without Tysabri, she is at greater risk of ending up in a wheelchair and becoming a cognitive shell of the woman she once was. This is real risk. I have this image. I enter an old-fashioned bank and walk up to the counter. Behind the inch-thick bullet glass stands a doctor in a white lab coat. In front of him is a small glass vial of Tysabri. The doctor does nothing. I shout, asking for the Tysabri. I'll pay anything, I weep. He does nothing. I'm not sure if he can hear me. I pound against the glass, trying to get to break to get at the vial. Of course, the glass window is bulletproof, and the shield easily withstands my blows. But finally, the doctor moves and reaches for the vial. And the question is, will he break through the glass barrier, or will he turn away? Let me show you another piece of glass. This small triangle of glass was once part of the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York. I had the privilege to serve as a chaplain at Ground Zero for 9 months. Early one morning, as we left the pit to go to the morgue, and a fireman gave me this shard of glass, this once clear, strong, impenetrable glass. Imagine people like you and me that morning peacefully looking out their window, out that glass. Suddenly the planes hit, and this glass shattered, as did their lives. I'm reminded by these images that nothing in life is fully safe or 100% risk-free. Not the bulletproof windows in an old bank, not the impenetrable glass from the North Tower, and not even exciting new advances in medicine. Too often, all we do is sweep up the broken glass of our life. But today, you have the rare privilege to break through a barrier for the good and restore thereby the shattered shards of our lives, not just for my wife, but also for the countless others impacted by this invidious disease. Please return Tysabri to the market. I thank you.
I have made many public presentations during my 30-year career as a General Electric executive, and in the last 20 years as an active participant in my local community. Not one of these presentations was as important to me personally as this one is today. I am here in my role as the father of a daughter whose life is at stake. Without access to Tysabri, her quality of life is rapidly declining. I do not have a relationship or financial interest with any company involved in this issue, nor have I accepted any financial help from any interested party. I am here solely as a father. In 1996, I went with my daughter for the first time in 30 years to a doctor. When the neurologist told us that she had MS, I had to ask him what MS was because I knew so little about the disease. 9 years, I have learned a considerable amount about MS. I have educated myself through research, listened to dozens of MS doctors, attended over 100 MS meetings with expert speakers, and met with many other MS sufferers and caregivers. I have learned much about MS from riding the roller coaster of the disease along with my daughter. 8 years ago, I accompanied my daughter as she walked with great difficulty into a single infusion early phase 2 trial for Tysabri. And I was heartened when I saw her walk briskly as she left the infusion trial. When my daughter took Tysabri, she had MS. But she was remarkably stronger and had an improved quality of life. My daughter is unable to tolerate the other standard therapies, and therefore she has no other viable treatment option. When Tysabri has been unavailable, I have witnessed her painful suffering and have helped her move her stuck toes, feet, arms, and fingers, and helped her eat and walk just as I did when she was a baby. Certainly, I do not need to tell you there's not a cure for MS. If there were, we would not be here today. Until there is a cure, patients have to choose what treatments, if any, to take to try to alleviate the symptoms and to stem the course of their diseases. If there were an effective drug that was risk-free, then we would also need not to be here today. I understand that your role as the FDA Advisory Committee is to ascertain the benefits and risks of a drug and to communicate that valuable information to doctors. This then allows the patients to receive information and advice tailored to their individual needs from their doctors, and in my daughter's case, with her permission, it enables me to be a more informed member of her consultation team. Finally, in my role as a father, I beg you to allow those suffering from MS and their doctors the freedom to decide whether or not to use Tysabri. Thank you.